A car flies off the freeway and slams right into a home, catching it on fire. The prized possession worth over $1 million that was lost in the flames. A sweet moment for some Swifties. They got to meet Taylor Swift herself. What struck them about the encounter? Hello, everyone. You're watching The Rundown. I'm Robin Winston. More on those stories coming up in a moment. But first, there's a heightened state of security across the country amid the Israel-Hamas war. There are no credible threats in the United States, but law enforcement officers are stepping up. You may see extra police officers at schools, synagogues, and other places. The LA Police Department and other local law enforcement agencies are telling all officers, even those who work in plain clothes, to report to work in uniform just in case they're needed.
To our partners in law enforcement for reminding us to be ever aware and vigilant and to be mindful of what may appear to be out of the ordinary.
In Washington, there's extra security around the Capitol building. Barriers were put up Thursday night. Capitol Police said there are also additional security measures. More than 1 million people living in the Gaza Strip are getting the warning to evacuate. It's the strongest signal yet that Israel is preparing for a large-scale ground invasion. Humanitarian organizations are now calling for Israel to reverse the evacuation order. The number of people killed on both sides of the war now tops 2,800. That includes at least 27 Americans. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken traveled to nearby Jordan, hoping to prevent the conflict from spreading to other Middle Eastern countries.
What we've seen here is something, to most of us, almost unimaginable. We stand with Israel. It has not only a right, but I think an obligation to take the steps necessary to defend its people, and also to ensure to the best of its ability that this can't happen again.
The United States is considering providing more resources to help Israel, but new aid is tied up as the House remains without a Speaker of the House. For many Palestinian Americans, this has also been a time of sadness. We spoke to a professor at UCLA, and he made clear that he's against violence of all kinds. He says the attacks by Hamas cannot be justified, but neither can the response by Israeli forces. The professor tells us as his horror in the Middle East unfolds, we must understand the history behind it.
4.5 million people living under 60 years of occupation like this takes a devastating toll. That's the context within which the present-day violence is taking place. It's torture to see what's happening to so many people.
Another expert on the Middle East, James Gelvin, told us that because of its autocratic nature, it's impossible to know how much support Hamas has among Palestinians. Union workers in Kaiser Permanente have reached a deal. The tentative agreement comes as Kaiser workers were prepared to begin another strike in November. The largest strike of healthcare workers in U.S. history began October 4th and lasted 3 days. Workers will vote to ratify the agreement in the coming weeks. All right, it's time to check in with meteorologist Belinda Leon, who's tracking a warm-up.
Hi everyone, ready for the weekend? Well, we had some nice fall weather there, but now it's going to heat up. So Friday and Saturday, temperatures will be comfortable. We'll get more sunshine on Saturday. Then Sunday through early next week, we're looking at highs rising into the 80s and 90s. As an area of high pressure takes over the west coast, well, we're going to see the temperatures feel more like summer. Look at the trend in Van Nuys. From 84 on Friday to 89 on Saturday, then 95 on Sunday. And next week, well, just keep the AC on because the temperatures will continue to sizzle with highs in the 90s. Stay safe.
A wild scene in Riverside County. Take a look at this. A home catches fire after a car flies off the freeway and crashes right into it. It happened around 2:30 Thursday morning in Old Town Temecula while a family of 7 was sleeping inside. Bill Rendon tells us this is actually the 4th time a car has flown off the 15 freeway and onto their property. Sadly, everything they own was destroyed in the fire. That includes a baseball collection that he says was worth more than $1 million.
186 Hall of Fame players, everything from Babe Ruth to present-day players. Luckily, we all got out alive, but what's going to happen the next time? Are they going to go through and is somebody going to get killed?
Wow, thank goodness everyone got out. The driver of the car stayed at the scene. At this point, it's unclear what caused the car to fly off the freeway. About half of holiday shoppers have already started buying gifts, and most of them are using credit cards to pay for them. But credit card debt is at a 10-year high. So if you're looking for strategies to chip away at that debt, here are some suggestions for you. Financial experts say first, know what you owe. That includes reviewing your credit report and score. You can get free access to those reports online. Consider consolidating your debt by using a 0% interest balance transfer card. And if you don't qualify for one, try working with your card issuer to lower your credit card rate. Then pick a repayment strategy and stick to it by figuring out how much you can truly afford to pay back each month. Angel City Sports hosts Courage Weekend. It's 2 days of adaptive sports for first responders and U.S. military veterans. NBC4's Jonathan Gonzalez introduces us to two athletes who share how adaptive sport changed their lives.
The moment that I talked to the Marine Corps recruiter for the first time, I just felt like this is where I belong.
Annika Hutzler was in boot camp when the pain began. It would take months to identify the rapidly growing tumor.
We tried everything to try to save my foot, and all of the procedures that we did just weren't really helping. It was actually making it worse. So at 22 years old, I said, cut it off now. I'm like, I'm not waiting the next 5 to 10 years of my life if this is inevitable. I electively amputated my right leg below the knee, and it was the best day of my life.
Annika says she lost a limb, but gained a new life.
It felt like it was the first time that there was hope.
8 weeks after her amputation, Annika competed in the Department of Defense Warrior Games.
It was the first time that things were going to get better because I had these role models that it showed me that this is what's possible.
Since then, Annika has embraced and embraced and embraced adaptive sport.
Essentially a celebration of sport and community focused on the veteran and active duty and first responder community.
Clayton Frack, founder and CEO of Angel City Sports, says this is about engaging and inspiring new athletes a chance to compete, learn, or just have fun. But Frack says Courage Weekend is also an opportunity for the public to engage, to cheer, to witness, and to get more comfortable with the disabled.
It's hard to get comfortable in this space. You gotta show up. You gotta meet athletes. You gotta meet people. Sport is such a fun way to do it. So fun.
Navy combat veteran and Purple Heart recipient Max Roan is a Courage Weekend competitor and mentor.
It is a huge struggle to try to find the bright spot. As you're going through recovery, the only thing that knocked me out of it was getting active and finding a purpose. My purpose is to help anybody else that was in my situation.
Max deployed to Iraq in 2009.
I loved my time serving my country. The day that I got hurt, we were in Fallujah. Somebody found an IED in the road, a different convoy. So we decided to reroute through the city. This was all part of an ambush, and we didn't know it until we were in the middle of it. And then they were shooting at us from the rooftops.
Max was severely injured.
Pain is still there. I have a bunch of shrapnel still left in my leg.
After multiple surgeries, an infection.
And they found a medical clamp that was left in my leg. My leg was pretty much toast. We decided to amputate. Because of the amputation, I got the function back.
Like Annika, Max has competed in the Warrior Games, the Invictus Games, and Courage Weekend.
I just think that everybody should come out because sports really did save my life.
This weekend, Max will compete in discus.
It's my favorite sport because it's so technical. It's beautiful when it all comes together. So if you're a veteran who's never done adaptive sports, you should come out to see what it's all about. If you're a veteran that's still competing, you should help try to build this Courage Weekend into something that will be great for everyone to attend. And then if you're a high-level guy, you should come out and try to beat everybody.
I mean, what a testimony. Very inspirational. All right, Universal Studios Hollywood is getting ready for the holidays. Yes, it's about that time. The celebration starts November 24th. The Grinch will be back along with all his friends, including his faithful dog, Max. You may spot them near the 65-foot-tall Grinchmas tree. Yes, Grinchmas tree. And the Wizarding World of Harry Potter will get a holiday transformation. One of the popular attractions there is the nighttime show on the castle. Isn't that beautiful? It's called The Magic of Christmas at Hogwarts. It's a light projection show that brings the castle to life. I think I'm going to go check this out too. Universal Studios and NBC4 are both owned by the same parent corporation, Comcast. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for two Swifties. Olivia Richard and Neri Garcia got to meet the Taylor Swift at the Grove for the premiere of her film. How exciting. So Neri says she initially got an email from Taylor Nation inviting her to Wednesday night's red carpet event. They weren't really sure if the invite was legit. They were like, is this real? But they decided to respond anyway. And sure enough, the tickets were authentic and they got to meet their idol who took selfies with them. That's pretty cool. They say Taylor was very authentic and sweet, and overall, it was just a magical moment for them.
She went person to person and she spent like time engaging directly with as many fans as she possibly could. And she spent like a good hour and a half just speaking to everybody and taking photos.
But she made it a point to tell every single person, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. You look gorgeous. And we're like, Taylor Allison Swift, have you thanked us?
Wow, what a special moment. AMC Theaters says the Eras film has already grossed $100 million in pre-sale tickets alone. It's now open nationwide. That's something they'll never forget. You can always get news and weather updates on the NBCLA app and our website, NBCLA.com. And be sure to tune into Today in LA on NBC4 weekdays, 4 to 7 a.m. I'll be helping you get around with traffic reports throughout the morning. I'll see you next time on The Rundown.